Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jessica,
And I'm Tracy.
and this is She's on Top, the place where we celebrate and elevate women.
And this is the new normal.
Today, we wanted to talk about something that is going to sound a bit strange, but it's basically the fact that we're all addicts. What do we mean by that? We're all addicted to busyness. We're all addicted to our schedules. You know, Brene Brown had a famous quote. When she was doing her vulnerability talk, she talked about the fact that we're all addicts. And she said, we're addicted to, food, shopping, alcohol, whatever you can think of. And she said, when there's a 12-step program that is for busyness, I'll be able to fill a stadium. And it's a really important thing to recognize because as a result of that, we're all kind of going through a detox right now.
Yeah, that's really true. I think a lot of us feeling busy gives us status. We're such busy people. And we feel guilty when we slow down. So I know for myself, and I think for Jessica too, that the first week it felt really uncomfortable. Sometimes I just wanted to like watch a movie in the middle of the day, and I felt really bad about it. And it was a struggle not to get rid of that guilt, just to not feel guilty about not being busy. Because if I'm not busy, what am I? It takes away sort of like the definition of who I am. I'm this busy, productive person. So that was a really big struggle. And it's now taking a few weeks to get into this rhythm of realizing that you don't have to be busy every single second of the day.
Yeah, and we have to recognize, like, you think of addicts as, I think, bad people, or, I'm not an alcoholic, or I'm not a shopaholic, or whatever. But what are addictions for? They're to distract us from uncomfortable feelings. And so that's what busyness does. And when you're trying to distract yourself from that, so earlier I was saying there's kind of a detox going on, and basically what that is it's kind of like a morning. You're sort of detoxing from, you're used to getting your morning coffee, you're used to, this is when I'm at work having my morning chat or whatever. And there's actually physical feelings in our bodies. It's not just like mental, it actually is physically uncomfortable. And I know for Tracy and I, for example, one of the first ways it showed up was with sleep patterns, right, Trace? Like we were both struggling.
We're both really struggling with sleeping. We actually had a very funny thing happening because Jessica would sleep really well Monday, and I'd speak to her Tuesday morning, and she'd be like, "Oh, I just woke up. It's 8 o'clock. I feel so good." And I'm like, "I have been up all night. I didn't sleep all night." And then the following night, I would have an amazing sleep, and then Jessica would have a terrible sleep. So we were like on total different sleep schedules. So where I wanted to fall asleep in the middle of the afternoon, she was raring to go, and vice versa. And it sort of was now starting to adjust, and my body's starting to adjust too. And I'm also really being careful too to try and turn off the computer at like 8 o'clock, and to try and get a little bit of exercise, go outside, even if it's, even if on a cloudy day, just to get outside and get some air. And it's slowly beginning to settle in, but that's kind of a detox too, right? Just getting our sleep patterns back in order is a huge thing.
Yeah, and it's good to know that they say it takes 3 weeks to change a habit. We're in about 2 weeks now. So in another week or two, things will start to calm down. I think even for all of us, even in the first week, it's like, 24/7 news, and, everybody was panicking, going to the grocery stores and buying toilet paper, and that's all kind of settled down. And it's also important, I think, to recognize, like, I live alone, which actually in some ways makes it easier. For other people, it may make it harder because you're isolated. But everybody's going to have their own detox going on. If you're in the house, and you can talk this more, Tracy, it's like your kids are going to have their own thing going on. So it's not just, it's going to be amplified because everybody's going to have their own symptoms going on. So we kind of have to have some patience.
Yeah, I think we have to have some compassion, empathy, because it's not just us, it's everybody around us. It's also detoxing. So I have 2 adult children at home, 23 and 21, both going through different things. They're both still sort of at university, so they're doing exams online. They're still having some online courses, so that's kind of stressful for them. They're also stuck in the house with me, their mother, which is not always that much fun. We struggled with, could they see friends? They couldn't see friends, and being empathetic to them too. And so what we're trying to do now, actually, my daughter came up to me and she said to me, "Mum, we have to have a schedule because I'm upstairs in the main room in the kitchen, and I'm working with Jessica. She doesn't want to be stuck in her bedroom all day." So we've sort of said, okay, so I'm going to do these Zoom calls from like 11:30 to 12:30. I need the upstairs. Then she wants to be upstairs for an hour while she can do some stuff. My son might want to watch some TV, which is just behind me. So he doesn't want to be stuck in his room all day, and he can't come and watch a movie. So we've had to sort of schedule our lives and be compassionate to everybody, and realize that we're all struggling with this, and that I'm detoxing and they are too. They're also addicted to being on their phones 24/7, and they have to stop that too. They have to figure out a new normal.
It's so important. So what's the next step? So once you realize that, you know, we are addicts, we are going through this, there's grief, there's like sort of loss of your old, you know, life. There's, you know, there's fear, there's all those things. So what are positive coping mechanisms? And, you know, one of the things that I've always read, and God knows Tracy and I are not experts, so you can look information up yourself. This is just us talking from our own experience. But they always say the best thing is to replace old habits with new habits. And so, you know, I was thinking about it this morning and I thought, you know, like I used to, part of my morning routine was to, you know, go to a local coffee shop and get a coffee. Well, now at the same time, I make a coffee and I walk around the block. So I still have that habit. Some of the things, I mean, everybody's jumped on Zoom, and that's been a real help in terms of, you know, people at work, they still have their morning meeting on Zoom. They still have, so I think that's helped people as well. And you can have people have kind of, as far as having social isolation, people sort of literally have dinner with friends, but have it on camera. I mean, there's different things that you can do, but I think it's like if you can establish a new routine. And I also think it's important to recognize, and, you know, I don't want to, like I said, I'm not an expert, but, you know, your kids may have their own coping mechanisms, and to have leave some space for that and kindness, that it may not, you may want them to do one thing, but I think it's good for all of us, whether it's with a partner or, you know, I'm dealing with my, you know, even with family who aren't here, that everybody's going to have their own ways of dealing with it, and to allow for that. Does that make sense, Trace?
It does. One thing that was actually helpful that Jessica and I figured out this week was we decided that we'd work on the weekends. We're like, why not? We're at home doing nothing. And we had scheduled a meeting, or I can't remember, we were going to work on something on Saturday. And then I woke up Saturday and I said, it feels like a weekend today. I know the week was kind of weird, but I want to keep my weekends. I don't want to just let the weeks flow into the weekends. So we decided that Friday at 5 o'clock we're done, and the weekends is just, even if we have nothing to do, we're not going to work on a newsletter, we're not going to work on a video. We are just going to watch movies, go for walks, and try and keep that sacred. That's really important, I think.
I think it's huge. And, you know, these are just some of the things that we've discussed, or some ideas that we've had, but we would love to hear about any ideas you have and share them, because the more that we share, the more that you'd be helping somebody else. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else, Trace.
We have our notes here, but I think we've covered it all. We would, we'd really love your feedback. We love your tips for coping too, and then we can share them with everybody in the community.
And remember that we cannot control what's going on right now. This is like beyond anything we can imagine, but what we can control is how we react to it, our thoughts. That's what we can control. So just focus on that, as opposed to, because if you focus on what you can't control, you'll get overwhelmed. But we can control how we react to this. And if we all help each other, we'll get through this.
Absolutely. So stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. See you next time.